Welcome back. Today we're going to be executing the temp fade. Start off by debulking the areas of my client's head with my 2-guard. I'm using my cordless Red Pros. Okay, now I'm going to make my first guideline with my clippers no guard, lever all the way closed. Now I'm going to go with my half guard, lever all the way closed. I like to use my wide brush to clean off those areas that I just hit with my clippers, just so I can see the hair that's no longer attached. Debulking with my 1.5 guard. Just a little bit under where I debulk with that 2. Now with my lever all the way open in a flicking out motion, right up under that occipital bone there. I'm just gonna try to blend into that bulky area of hair. Blend it out with my 1.5 guard all the way open. As I slowly transition my 1.5 guard lever all the way closed. I took my guard off and I'm back to my half guard all the way open. So I'm going to blend my pretty much the area where my 1.5 guard was all the way closed, because the 1.5 all the way closed is pretty much a 1 guard all the way open. So with my half guard that I'm using all the way open is pretty much a 1 guard all the way closed. So I'm just blending that 1 all the way closed into that 1 all the way open without using the 1 guard. Just hitting those dark areas with the corners of my clippers. With no guard, I'm going to start with my lever all the way closed again to soften up that first guideline I made. And I'm going to transition upward. I open my lever a little bit there and going a little higher until I can blend into my half guard all the way closed, because the clipper no guard all the way open blends into a half guard all the way closed. Now I'm all the way open with my lever as I'm blending into the area where the half guard was all the way closed, making a smooth transition. I'm just pretty much now fixing anything that I don't like, any dark areas, blending them in better with my 1.5 guard. So it's basically like I'm going back, cleaning up, touching up, that type of thing. Any little areas I don't like, fixing them up before I move to the other side of my client's head. Okay, I'm going to repeat the same steps on the side. I have my no guard, clippers all the way closed, lever all the way closed, no guard on the clippers to make my first guideline. Anything below, you see sideburns where I jumped over them and started creating my first guideline with the clippers all the way closed. I'll come back at the end and hit all that hair on the sideburns with my trimmer to blend everything in to the haircut. Same thing in the back, on the back of my client's neck. That's my last step of the process of performing this temp fade. All right, now I have my half guard on with my lever all the way closed, creating my second guideline. Just working the corner of those clipper blades. Brushing off the area, cleaning off my work area for any loose hairs. What I want to do is debolt the area with my 1.5 guard a little bit below where I deboked in the beginning with the 2 guard on. So I'm going to debolt, and from here I'm going to open up my lever and I'm going to fade into my afro and soften up that area I just deboked with my 1.5 guard. Lever all the way open. And I'm going to transition down into the lever being all the way closed. Now I'm going to put my half guard back on and open the lever all the way and try to transition the area with my half guard into the area what I 1.5 just cut into. Like I said, it's 1.5 guard all the way open, should blend into that 1.5 all the way closed. I don't know if I said that right. This 1.5 guard all the way open should blend into that 1.5 guard all the way closed. So as I blend, I will gradually close my lever and fade down until my lever is all the way closed. Just working the corner of those clippers still. Hitting those dark areas. All right, now I'm all the way closed. Up missed the spot and open it up a little more. All right, now no guard. Knocking out that first guideline I created at the bottom. With my lever all the way closed, I just open it a little bit as I'm blending up into my fade. And I'm all the way open, blending up into that half guard all the way closed area. Okay, so with my trimmers, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up those sideburns and ball out the bottom of my temp fade. So we're gonna perform the same steps on the other side. Okay, now I'm pretty much just scoped in the fro, the areas around my client's hair around the temp fade to make it all kind of transition in smooth from the fade to the bulk of the haircut, the afro. My client didn't want me to touch anything on top of his head, like as far as taking off anything. So we're just sculpting right now. I usually like to, just take my clippers, no guard, lever close, just freehand, free form. Making sure I move my client's ear out of the way. Anytime I get close to his ear. Still trying to get that little cotton ball there. I know you don't want me to mess with the top, but something about that cotton ball sitting right there. Just transitioning everything in smoothly. Same thing in the front. Just pretty much free form, freehand, getting those little stragglers. Cleaning up my area, my workspace. Just a little holding spray. About to get ready to get my client to line up. I already kind of started his edge, so right now what I'm doing is pretty much trying to make sure everything is lined up. You know, reevaluating my client. Everything looking pretty good. See if there's anything that I can do to enhance my client's haircut. See if there's anything that he want to do, maybe a sponge brush or, you know, anything. Right now I'm just cleaning them up, spin them around, let him get a good look at it. I'm gonna take my shears, even though he said he doesn't want anything off the top. I'm gonna just clean up those split ends around, you know, with my shears. Every client has their request on their haircut, how they want it cut. And I cut it how my client wants it cut, but I really don't like to have a client get out of my chair looking like they only got a half of a haircut. Even if that's, you know, that's what they want, half a haircut. You know, don't touch most of it. But I still want my client to look nice when he get out of my chair. So I do these little extra steps, and you know, my clients usually don't mind. My client asked me if I could sponge it, so just putting a little grease in his hair, just so I can, you know, get that shine to it and put a little bit of nutrients in his hair, a little oil sheen, just add a little more shine to it. So I have some gel, some aloe. This is gonna hold them curls in from the sponge brush. So I put a little bit of gel in my client's hair. Sponge my client. Alright, so look at the final look. This is the final product of the temp fade. My client was satisfied with the haircut.